What if I told you the Miami Heat were about to win a championship this season? I know right now FanDuel has us at plus 12,500 to win it all, but you know what I have to say about that? I say plus 12,500 my ass. That's how I feel after watching our guys dominate the international stage. And of course, it's not the first time we've seen the Miami Heat shine in foreign competition. I'll never forget back in 2021, we literally saw the Miami Heat beat the world when Nigeria beat them in like an Olympic exhibition game. You had Precious Achiuwa and KZ Okpala and Gabe Nnamdi. I remember when they took down Team USA, and now it's time for some of our other guys thriving in EuroBasket, whether it's Fontecchio literally breaking Italian records, or Pelle Larsson outplaying Nikola Jovic, or Nikola Jovic looking like he's taking a major leap. So I figured it'd be a great time to check in on our guys and see how they're doing with about a month to go before preseason, which, by the way, you can get tickets for as low as $7 from the sponsor of today's video, Game Time. Game Time is the #1 place to get your Hurricanes tickets. We just beat that Notre Dame ass. AP poll has us in the top 5, so I'm very excited to see them. You can get your Dolphins tickets with the season kicking off in a few days. Of course, you can get your Heat tickets and many, many more events. I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I used to browse all the ticket apps before buying some seats, but time and time again, I always ended up buying from Game Time. And it's because I always found them to have the most user-friendly interface. I mean, you can literally see a panoramic preview of what the view will look like from your actual seats, and they always show the price with fees included, so no more hidden cost popping up right before you get your tickets. Plus, the Game Time guarantee means that you'll get 100% authentic tickets on time and at the best price. And this is not like a Charles Barkley guarantee where he says something and he's always wrong. Like, no, Game Time will literally guarantee that you have the lowest price, or they'll credit match you up to 110% the difference. So if you want to go see Giannis for $7 at the first Heat preseason game, or want to see Tyreek Hill in action one more time before the Dolphins trade him, make sure to download the Game Time app today, or go to gametime.co and sign up using my promo code CLNS. That's CLNS, and that will get you $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. It's as simple as an Ollie Gordon handoff. Just swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Game Time app today. So I want to start by talking about the second best Italian hooper in the world, behind me, of course, and that's Simone Fontecchio, who people clowned because after his first game, it was a group phase game versus Greece, he shot 1 of 11. It was a bit of a rough outing, but just 3 days later, he shut up all the haters when he dropped an Italian record 39 points. And it was on 13 of 20 shooting and 7 of 10 from 3 in a win versus Bosnia. And from the film that I saw, he was doing everything offensively. I saw him hit a Jimmy shimmy, drive baseline, finish with an explosive dunk, was hitting catch and shoot threes with blazing quick release, post fadeaways, off the dribble, sidestep threes. He was really showing all of that offensive versatility that it appears the Heat valued to supplement the loss of Duncan Robinson and his dynamic three-point shooting. I'm not saying that the Heat value Fontecchio over Duncan Robinson. They're very different players, and certainly Duncan wasn't some standstill three-point shooter. No, he was very versatile and unique in his ability to fly off screens and the passing game that he had with Bam Adebayo out of the pick and roll. So I think the Heat missed Duncan Robinson, but we know they just didn't want to pay him. So at least when they lost him to Detroit, they were able to get Fontecchio back in a sign and trade who could provide some sort of scoring punch. And to this point, Italy is 3 games into EuroBasket. They are 2-1, and Fontecchio is the 12th leading scorer in the entire tournament, averaging about 19 points per game, which is ahead of guys like Nikola Vucevic and Kristaps Porzingis. Originally, I didn't think Fontecchio would have a huge role on the Heat roster, but then they traded Haywood Highsmith. So now your wings off the bench are just Jaime Jaquez and my guy Keshad Johnson. And although I love Keshad Johnson, I will admit I still think he's about a year away. He needs another year to really develop. But I do think that Jaime Jaquez is probably above Fontecchio as far as the depth chart right now. If anything, he needs a lot of minutes to build his confidence back up and maybe his trade value, because right now I don't think Jaime's trade value is that high. So maybe they want to showcase him a bit. either way, I do think Jaime will have a bounce back year. I think Spo believes so as well. But let's say he doesn't. Let's say he doesn't have the leap that we're all hoping he will. I think right now Fontecchio is showing that he's certainly a guy that's capable of playing, and he's showing Spo that he's a guy that can be trusted out there to provide a little bit of punch offensively. However, another guy for the Heat that has definitely carved himself out a role in the rotation is Pelle Larsson, the Swedish Swish, who's currently 8th in points per game in EuroBasket at just over 20 points per game, which is literally better than Nikola Jovic and Alperen Şengün. Now, of course, I'll pump the brakes a little bit. I'm not saying that Pelle Larsson is better than those guys, but he's certainly been improving every single game. In his most recent game versus Montenegro, he dropped 28 points, including 19 free throw attempts. I mean, we saw him get to the line a lot in Summer League, but now we're seeing him do it in EuroBasket too. And I'm starting to really believe that that's a skill that will be transferable to the NBA. Although it will definitely take some time for him to get the respect of the officiating and the whistle, but he will continue having that aggressiveness, and he does have an ability to draw contact. And I think that's part of the reason he'll be a lock to be a part of the Heat rotation this year. And that's in addition to his defensive prowess and overall Heat cultureness, if that's a word. Because he's a guy that certainly doesn't have to convince Spo of anything. I think Pelle was always going to get minutes no matter what based off his effort alone. But the offensive bag that he's shown in EuroBasket so far has really been the cherry on top. Although I will say he'll have a much different role with the Heat. In EuroBasket with Sweden, we're seeing him be the guy. He's having the ball in his hands pretty much all the time. And I don't really think that'll be the case with Miami all the time because, still off the bench, you'll have a guy like Davion Mitchell that'll have to share the ball with a little bit. So Pelle will be off ball a lot with the Heat. For that reason, he'll need to improve his three-point shot still because right now in EuroBasket, through 3 games, he's only at 23%. So not quite showing the improvements there that we know are necessary, but eventually he'll continue to work on that. He's only going into his sophomore season. You don't learn to become a great shooter overnight. So I do have some confidence that he'll continue to improve that three-point shot when he keeps working with the Heat development staff. But outside of the iffy three-point shooting numbers, he's really done an incredible job carrying Sweden despite their 1-3 record. And I should mention, Pelle did miss one of those games due to an illness. But a team that hasn't been struggling is Serbia, who is currently undefeated at 4-0. And on FanDuel, they're favored to beat Turkey tomorrow, who is the other undefeated team in their group. So, of course, Serbia is also the favorites to win the entire thing. Of course, a lot of that is on the back of Nikola Jovic. But Nikola Jovic has also been an efficiency monster. Through 4 games, he's averaging about 12 points, but on 67% shooting and 56% shooting from 3. And even then, as much as those efficiencies really jump out the page at you, they really don't do it justice how ready Nikola Jovic looks right now. First of all, physically, he looks swole. Broad shoulders, muscles are very defined. Physically, he's no longer that skinny 19-year-old kid that we all highly anticipated adding muscle back when he was drafted. He's done it. He's added the muscle. And in addition to that, his confidence is almost tangible. Whether it's him getting a rebound and going coast to coast, just like we saw him do with the Heat, he's not scared to do that on the international stage, and he's not getting punked out there. We saw him shove the guy from Portugal who was talking trash or whatever, and yeah, Jovic got a technical, but who cares? I love to see it. That's passion. That's confidence. We're literally seeing him thrive on the world stage and not shine behind Nikola Jovic like we saw a little bit the past time he played with Serbia. But he's not living in the shadow of Jovic. He's literally leaving an imprint of his own, and I love to see it. I think there's no question that he'll have a major role for the Heat this season. A lot of people are saying that he might start, which he might. It really might come down to him or Ware. We know Ware had a couple of rough games in the Summer League. We saw Spo call him out. Prior to Ware's response, I was saying, hey, maybe Ware didn't earn his spot in the starting lineup after all. But Ware kind of did a nice job bouncing back after Spo's critical comments. So I think Ware probably did enough to earn Spo's respect to keep him in the starting lineup. So I do think we'll probably see Bam and Ware in that starting front court, but maybe not. Maybe Spo still decides Ware has some more work to do, puts him off the bench, keeps Bam to 5, puts Jovic back at the starting 4 like we did see a lot last year as well. Or maybe he starts all 3. We saw a few times last year what my guy Tobin was calling Tall Time 2.0 with the Jovic, Bam, and Ware lineup. I'm certainly a fan of that lineup. I do think that we'll see a little bit of that this season, but will that lineup start? Probably not, right? Because you know Tyler's going to start, and then who's next to him? Wiggins, Norman Powell, Davion? Like, you can't have two of those three come off the bench, so I don't think we'll see any situation where Jovic and Ware start. But hey, maybe Ware does come off the bench since you don't have a backup big man right now as it is. Maybe the lineups balance out a little bit more if you keep Ware off the bench and then have Jovic in that starting lineup. But either way, I mean, I'd be cool with Jovic coming off the bench. I think they could maybe use a secondary ball handler off the bench, you know, when maybe Tyler goes to sit or Bam goes to sit, who they run a lot of offense through as well. I think it'd be really cool to see Jovic have the ball in his hands a lot coming off the bench. There's a lot of uncertainty right now in terms of his contract. He is extension eligible, but I don't think there's any questions that he's going to get a ton of playing time this year and have a major role for the Miami Heat. And me personally, I'm very optimistic that a major leap is coming for Nikola Jovic. But that's all I got to say for this video. So let me know your thoughts down below. I'm very curious, what kind of role do you think Fontecchio, Larsson, and Jovic will have for the Heat this year? Make sure to drop your comments down below because I'm very curious to hear what y'all think. Shout out to the sponsors of today's video, FanDuel and Game Time. I do greatly appreciate y'all tuning in. Make sure to like the video and subscribe because all your support is greatly appreciated. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out, everyone.
Pull up in your city trying to get that dead face. Do it on my own, I don't need no dead weight. Had to kill him off, yeah, I need a head space. You know this homegrown bitch don't offend me.